On to Greg Lockridge with Trinity International, Dacia Nix. And then, Mikey, who did they pick up? They picked up someone. Um,
Trinity just recently picked up Corey Curtis.
Rory Curtis.
Yeah,
He's a 4-star, right?
yeah, he's pretty decent. I watched some of his clips earlier today when I'd seen that they picked him up, and I think that giving Dacian a little more help will definitely help them. He did a lot for them last year. Took them to the tournament basically with just him and some young cats, and I think that him with his seniority and his leadership, he can definitely lead these guys to something nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Coach Lockridge, we got you. You're on our podcast. All right. We did. I don't mean to hit you. Hit you.
Okay.
Can you hear me here? But I just kind of. We've been going through the West Coast. We've already talked to Prolific. We've talked to Arizona Compass. And if you've got just a minute to visit with us, I'm with Mikey. You know Mikey Davis, and so we're just going through here. We've already talked about you guys just a little bit. You got the number one
Okay.
point guard in Dacia Nix in that 2020 class, and if you don't care, just go through. Talk about Dacia first, which he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink. But just talk about Dacia, then kind of go through your roster if you've got just a minute for us.
Sure, sure. We of course we have Knicks, and we think he's the best point guard in the country. We are playing somewhat of a different style, more up tempo, more speed than we played last year. We thought that as the season went on, teams started to load up on him, realizing that he was the primary coming off of the ball screen, and we didn't really have guys that would pick and pop and roll, and we didn't really have guys that could play off that initial lead pass that he would make coming off of that thing. So we wanted to go a different style, so we brought in more speed. We brought in more athleticism. We went smaller. We picked up a few kids along the way. Actually, we picked up about 8 new kids. We picked up a kid out of California by the name of Dennis Cash. He went to a school called Corona Centennial. We think at 6'7", 6'8", he'll be able to control the middle of the lane. Great wingspan, extremely athletic, can shoot the three, can beat you off the bounce, and we think he can also defend multiple spots, so that helps us. We picked up a kid out of Switzerland. He's really half Cameroon, half Swiss. 6'8" kid. He hasn't arrived yet, but from everything I've seen, I think he can help us. He is a shot blocker at 6'8". He can shoot it, and he runs the floor like a deer. We think he can also help control the middle of the floor. We picked up a guard who's next to Nick. He's our primary ball handler. A kid by the name of Dominic Daniels. Is just a pit bull. He can pick you up from baseline to baseline. We asked him to do a lot. He probably expels the most energy out of anybody on the team. He plays both ends of the floor. He may be one of the best two-way players on the grind session. And he's only 5'9", but I say only, and I temper it when I say that, because he's a beast. He can catch lobs and things like that, so he's athletic. And he shoots the three. He's a left-handed kid, and just fast as lightning. We have another kid that kind of plays next to him. We may bring him off, but we think he's kind of solid. His name is T.J. Lowry. He actually played with us in the summertime. He's from good stock. His dad was the point guard on that Loyola Marymount team with Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball. We think he shoots it well. He's fast. Not as good a defender as I would like, but we think he's getting there. But he's a pretty good offensive player. And then we have another kid that starts, and I'm not sure he's going to continue. He doesn't defend well, but he can score. He can shoot the lights out. His name is Corey Curtis Jr. He can score. He's a natural scorer. I would say he's about 6'4", 6'5", maybe. Um, and and if he ever gets his defense up, he can play multiple positions at the guard spot. But he's never really had to defend. He's been a primary scorer, and nobody's made him defend. His whole deal was putting the ball in the hole. So we think that he's going to help us offensively. If he can get his defense down, then it'd be hard to get him off the floor because he does score, and he's got a pretty high IQ. We picked up a kid out of Canada by the name of Javier Gilgis Glasgow. His cousin is Shea Gilgis Alexander, one of them, and then he has another cousin. Both are in the NBA. He's a 2022 kid. Doesn't defend it well off the ball, on the ball. He's fantastic. He's strong. He takes the wrong angles and forward. We just need to teach him. And then I think if he ever decided that he wanted to contribute on the offensive end, he could. Right now he defers a lot. I think he's young, so he's kind of guessing. But he has a toughness to us. And then we have a kid out of Kansas by the name of Jackson Pillage that is athletic as all outdoors. He's about 6'5", 4.5, 6'5". But he plays big, jumps out the gym. I think he could do a lot of things defensively if I can get him to focus in. But we played this past weekend. I think he had about maybe 9 or 10 steals in the 3 games. He really gets into the passing lanes at times, and again, if he stays focused, he can help us. And he turned out to be a decent 3-point shooter. He's got a funny style shooting, hits in his wrist, but he goes in. Then we got another guard. We're guard heavy. We got a young kid, and he has the best stroke out of anybody on the team. And he does what he's asked to do. His defensive positioning is good. He runs the lanes hard. He's just young and he's small, so it'll take him time. But we think he actually had something for us in the future. And we picked up a 6'7" Serbian kid that right now is a little soft, but he has a nice stroke. We picked up him because we had success with Jovan. He's bigger than Jovan, longer than Jovan. Once he gets over his homesickness and things like that, and starts to buy in, then we think he'll be able to stretch the floor for us a little bit. He can guard the 5 as well. So, and then we have the kid from last year, Mo, and he's been with us now. Last year was his first year, and then this year, and so he's been with us for a minute, and we hope that he'll be able to contribute. I really think he can be an excellent shooter if he locks in. I just can't keep him on the floor, from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah.
He just doesn't help us much. Yeah,
Well,
because you remember that he can't help his defense.
well, Coach Locke, you've kind of in the past you would show up and it'd be you and an assistant and maybe 6 or 7 players, but I think you figured out after a few years on the grind session that you got to be 8 to 10 deep. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We'll actually be 10 to 12 deep. What I figured out was, for instance, Mitch would get tired down the stretch, and he really couldn't control the game and take over a game like we wanted him to down the stretch because he was doing it for 34, 35 minutes prior to. So we decided to go a little bit deeper, which would rest him more, and then be able to have him be at his peak performance down the stretch.
Even though y'all were low on numbers last year, y'all still produced, and y'all got your guys still always fought and never gave up. So it's just the fact that y'all got a little more depth is definitely going to help out a lot more. Y'all play with a lot of heart.
I agree that we've been real lucky. The kids that we've gotten have always played hard. This team plays hard. They grind. With the speed, I think they can play a little faster than what they do sometimes. We think our optimum speed is about 65 to 70 all offense, and then and then we just want to go all out on defense. We want to use the speed to apply the pressure. We think we can do that. We're exploring maybe pushing out a little bit and picking up 3/4, maybe full court because of the numbers. But I expect this team to do the same, and that's play hard all the time. And I expect great things from them. It's a new group, so I'm excited. And for the most part, they're really good kids. I mean, they want to do the right thing all the time, and that, it's been a while since I had a whole team that I pretty much, felt really, really good about, and them buying into, and then being excited as to what their futures would be. But I think they all can go to college off this team.
Well, that's exciting. And then, Coach, we're going to wrap it up with one more story with it. Just tell us about that first time that, you were on the grind session, and it was Daisha's freshman year, right? And so.
No, actually, we were on before that. The first time we were on the grind session was with Sam Bittner, and we were playing Josh Jackson and Prolific Prep. Now, it wasn't in Kentucky, but it was in Napa.
Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and we thought we played a pretty good game, but we got a taste of what the grind session was like because Josh closed the door on us, and of course, he was a pro, and every year, since then we faced pros. Almost every year we faced at least one or two pros that have been in the grind session. He's 14 years old, and I remember that I thought, boy, this kid might be a little bit overwhelmed. He was much smaller than what he is now, but I knew that it was the place for him to be able to develop and grow and turn into what he could be, and the grind session it primarily has been the place that Daisha has grown up, and what you see now is a result of that competition that he's faced on the grind session. I tell everybody that listen, I give Dan almost 100% credit for being able to turn this into something special, and I've developed my kids along the way. We got a kid at SMU, Isaiah Mike, played. We just found out that King Wooten Jr. signed with the Knicks.
Wow,
so we've had
that's awesome.
Success with some guys. Yeah. So we've got some guys out there too. So we're thankful for the platform, and I'm excited for the new group.
But it's not just Dan. It's the Mikeys and the Jessies and the Skylers and the Greg Lockridges and all the people we talk about. It becomes a family. It really does become a family because not only do I talk to you once a week, maybe twice a week, we get to, it becomes, we rely on each other. We not only for just basketball, for other matters that come in our life. And so it's just been a very, very good overall experience. It's been a life-changing experience for me, myself. So I appreciate you, Coach, and very much appreciate your time, okay?
Thank you so much, and I just want to thank you and everybody else, and lastly, I just want to say I think it's because of the loyalty that you've shown to us, as well as the other people you just named, is the reason you get that loyalty back. So,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and then what we will do throughout this season is we will go in and we'll talk about like the recruitment process and like the fact of you and Daisha's mom teaming up together and taking them through the process, because you guys have been basically what we want to see the grind session happen, and where you can kind of shelter a future pro from all the outside problems that could come into that, and just a mom entrusting you. And so, but we want to tell that story. And so I think we can do that over these podcasts. So, but once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. And we appreciate everything.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So there you go, Mikey. That's, like I said, we can tell story after story after story. And Coach Locke, he's been coaching for years and loves the grind session, loves what it's about, and has taken Daisha, since the 8th grade, and Daisha will be in the league one of these days, as long as his health stays intact and all those good things. So
Daisha's definitely, like he said, is top point guard in the nation, and He's been my favorite player on the grind session for a couple years now. I love him on the court and off the court. He's got a great personality. He's a great athlete. His passing is unmatched. I haven't seen many people with court vision like him. He just recently committed to UCLA, so congratulations to him.